Okay, so this is interesting. I meant to. I'm gonna copy this into. Uh, Technical difficulties abounded today. So I'm going to, hopefully, if you're watching this live, we're just going to close this. I'm going to drop this into. Uh, we're going to drop this into drafts, which I don't know that I'll be able to do. So I'm going to go into YouTube right now for my own. There we go. Okay, so I am going to go to YouTube Studio. Bear with me. Hey, and let's see where we are at right now. There should be a live component here. This is gonna take me longer than I thought. Um, and JDL's here. Okay, great. Hey, Dom, I can see you there. Can you do me a favor, and can you take this and share it with the existing live stream? So the one that's already up and running. Can you copy and paste the link over to there for everybody to watch? Um, that would be awesome. So there should be a comment there. I'm just going to put on a new stream from mobile into the other. Uh, I'll share the link shortly. So if you could do that, that would be awesome. I don't know if you know how to do that. But if we could drop it over to that live stream that's been running for about 7 minutes, thanks. I appreciate it. Whew. OBS. So the reason we're doing this here, and again, apologies for the sound and all that stuff. It should be a little bit better. Is that OBS, which I was using on my iMac, and I did run a test with this, so I'm surprised this happened. It's because it was maybe it's because it was a scheduled one. I'm not quite sure, but what happened is I was going to go in there and basically went in and used OBS to get started. And yes, live streaming is always fun. Thanks, Josh. And what happened is that I would launch OBS and boom, all of a sudden it would go away. It just basically pasted into. I went to fire it up and OBS would just consistently crash, which is what I was using for my stream. So that didn't work out so well. So I'm gonna have to revisit that for future lives. Maybe I'm just gonna do them on mobile because I did not have a problem last time. Uh, and oh, there we go. Thank you for sharing it. Can we drop that link into the chat? I'm gonna end this. So, Shaq, can you drop that into the chat in the other existing stream? If I can, I mean, I can't grab it from where we are right now, unless I actually go to the live channels, which I can't see here because it's not complete. There's a lot going on here. Here we go. Ugh. All right. So we're going to get rid of these ones here. Oh man, there's so many things going on. All right. I'm going to share. There we go. Get shareable link. I'm going to drop it into the existing live stream. There we go. Boom. I dropped it in there, and I'm going to end it. So sorry for the technical issues. We're going to get into things. Don't worry. I mean, I've set aside an hour. And if you're watching this while it's recorded, then you know, okay, this is still a new thing for me. So I'm going to end that stream, and then I will probably end up deleting that video. The good news is we are now live with this other stuff, which is great. So I'm gonna I'll deal with this other stuff later. Let's get into things here. So for those of you that are watching live, thank you so much for joining. Thanks for putting up with the technical stuff. It's not been fun. Not been fun at all. Okay, the worksheet now. I gave everyone the link in there, but let me go in here and if you went to productivityist.com / get the progress planner, it would be you should have been able to get it via email. But I will. Let me see here if I can find the link and drop it into the chat myself so that way you can just get it right out of the gate. There it is. I'm going to drop it into the chat right now. Let's go here. And of course, I can't do it while I'm live. Here we go. Let's get out of here. So it's, if you go to, oh, actually, if you go to, I'm going to put it in the chat here. Nope, can't do it. If you go to productivityist.com, the daily progress planner, you should be able to get it. So I'm going to see if I can actually start watching this right now live. It might be a little bit challenging. Oh, there we go. Okay, I'm going to mute my audio. So many things here. Here we go. This is where you can get the progress planner. Okay, I'm in here. Phew. All right. Wow. This has been fun. So anyway, thanks for joining me. This is the daily progress planner sheet. Now, if you have the weekly work pad, which I talked about last time, then you'll be able to use that. But what I want to do here is I'm going to go through this progress planning sheet, which you can see right here, and kind of go through how I plan today. Now, I'm not going to plan Saturday because we're recording this on a Friday. What I'm going to do is I'm going to plan my Monday, for lack of a better term. So yes, I did make it live, Tracy. Whew. Yes, this was a painful process. I think from now on, I'm gonna have to dig in a little bit more and make sure that I can do the mobile stuff. So yep, and the direct link is on the other feed. But we also have the worksheet direct link here. Thanks for doing that. And anyone who's still in that other feed, hopefully people are moving over here now. Nothing like preparation and having the thumbnail and everything ready, but it not working. All right, so if you've got this progress planner sheet, the basics involved in planning your day involves the first step, which is capture. So we're going to get right into it. So at the top of that sheet, if you have it, if you have that sheet, just say yes, got the sheet. Yes, got the sheet. Just indicate that in the comments, okay? If you're watching this live, say, yep, I've got it. Perfect. Tracy's got it. Dom, you've got it. Who else has it? Diane's getting it. Diane's getting that. Camille's got it. Julie's got it. Everyone. All right, we're seeing a good number of people in here. Great. Okay. First thing you're going to do is put the date on it. Now, whatever day you're planning is the one that you want to do. So I'm actually going to put the date for, because Saturday is not going to be a terribly busy, it's my family day. I'm not going to have a ton of stuff on here for family day. I'm going to plan Monday. So for me, it'll be the 16th. So I'm just going to put, and I'm going to use the 2019-12/16, I believe is the Monday. So just put that in the top space of your sheet. If you're just using a blank sheet of paper, just put that date at the top. That's all you need to do. Okay. Now, if you are theming your days, if you're using daily theming like I am, then you're going to put the theme at the top. Now, I theme all 7 days of my week. So I know what the daily theme for Monday is, which for me is leveling. So I'm going to write that down right here, leveling. Whether you use one L or two, it doesn't really matter. So there you go. So there's leveling, there's the date. If you don't have a daily theme, just leave it blank. If you're not using this daily progress planner, also leave it blank. And yes, Tim, gotta love technology. But I did the last live on this video on my phone here. Maybe that's what I need to do. I don't think, last time I scheduled it using my phone, it worked way better. So I think I'm just gonna do that from now on. Mobile just seems to work best for this kind of things. All right, so the first step in the process for me is always gonna be capture. Okay, it's always going to be capture. So capturing these tasks are going to be, where they're coming from are from two different places. So keep this in mind. If you're using a digital task management app, and by the way, the microphone is over here for a reason now, I don't need it. If you're using a digital task app, what you should do is go to that task app, whether it's Todoist, OmniFocus, Asana, Time Hero, Marvin, Notion, whatever you're using to manage your tasks. Go there and look at that day's tasks that you had planned. So I would go at this point, and actually I can go into my task app and just type in that date. So I can go, okay, I want to see what's going on this date. I'll type it in. You're going to see my hands here, of course. Sorry. I'm just going to type in. Okay, so I'm going to look at the tasks for that day, and I can see everything that is going to be happening for that day. Sometimes you can just go to that day too. If you're using, like in Asana, for example, you can go to the calendar view and you can go, okay, I want to see what's going on this day, and you click on it. Todoist, you could do the same thing. You're not able to download the planner. Okay, it might be because it's on. It should be on Dropbox. Let me go to that and see if I can. Let me see if I can download it. Yeah, it is there. It's working from there. I can see it. So it should be right there. It might be because of where your security settings are. So download worked fine. So it could be just where or it could be just where you are, because it's Dropbox. I haven't put anything on AWS yet. I probably should. So if you're having issues with it, the direct download link should be there, or you could just go to productivityist.com/get the daily progress planner, and you can get it from there. But moving on. And again, you can just do this on a plain sheet of paper too if you want. Just have a section called capture. So all I'm going to do is I'm going to go inside of my task app and just write down the tasks that I've kind of want to capture for that day. So I can tell you right now that most of the tasks that I'm going to be doing are related to leveling. Okay, so if I'm looking at Asana right now, I can see, and I'm not gonna. So number one is I have to share my thoughts. Share my thoughts on the new Todoist. Thoughts. I have to, and these are, and also they're going to come from here too. So keep in mind that you're not just going to be pardon me looking up. You're not just going to be thinking about things that are in your task app, but you're also going to be thinking about things that you need to do, or things that you didn't do from the week before. So I can take things from this worksheet and bring them over. So another thing that is I need to study HoneyBook, which is a podcast sponsor. So that's something I need to do and that I want to do. The other thing I need to do and want to do is update You Need a Budget, because we use YNAB for our thing, for our finances here. I'm also going to look at my calendar. So if I'm looking at my calendar right now, and I can go, so this is the other place you're going to look. So I'm going to look at Monday. I'm going to go, oh, well, I know I have a meeting. Oh, I have to, I'm going to play with Notion. That's something I'm capturing because I have a meeting with someone from Notion on Monday. So I want to take a look at that. I have another meeting with someone on Monday that I'm going to prepare for. I'll probably do that on Sunday. So I need to do that. And also we're filming on Monday. So I need to, plan, shoot, final details. I'm going to put that here. Okay. I need to, let's see what else. I need to plan Tuesday shoot because we are shooting also on Tuesday. I need to research my podcast guest for Tuesday as well. And I also need to prepare for a coaching consult. So all of these things I'm just writing down, and I'm looking at two different areas. I'm looking at my calendar, and I'm looking at my, actually two right now, but I'll go back to Asana, my weekly work pad that's in front of me, as well as Asana. So I'm seeing all of these things right now. If you have any questions about this, just let me know as we're going through it. So I'm preparing for my coaching consult. The other thing I need to do is I need to work on book edits. It's a pretty big task to put on here, but I need to do that because we are in the final phases of getting the book ready. I need to, let's see what else is on here. I need to, set up Meet Edgar. I need to review my Webinar Ninja stuff, because I'm doing some webinar stuff. It is because we're going into the final week before Christmas. Actually, some of the other things I need to set up my office/guest area, because my mother-in-law will be here on Monday, and so we need to make sure I have that ready. She's going to be here for a few days over the holidays. I need to do my research for 2 weeks' notice, because there will be another video coming out of that. We're shooting the trailer for that on Monday as well, so I can go shoot 2 weeks' notice trailer. See, all these things are going to bleed out. So all you need to do at this, and so you can see I'm writing all these things. All I'm doing initially is just writing down the tasks. That's it. Now, there are other areas here that you can see. There's mode and project. You can start to fill those out as well. But really, initially, all you want to do is just get these things out of your head. These are all the things that are going to be primarily your big deal. Awesome. Thanks. Yes, Nadia, thank you for doing that. If you like this video, share it. Let's get people in here to help with their planning. So I'm going to look at my modes, and if I've got categories of mode-based work, so most of these will be leveling. So I will look at these, and like some are planning, right? So there's planning. So I'm going to be, that's planning mode, planning. And the other interesting thing is by me planning Monday now is I'm going to see some stuff that's planning oriented, which I might want to next time say, hey, this should have been done on a Friday, which is my planning day. This would be looking, which is the filming stuff. My research would be researching or study, so I'll just call it research. Set up my office, that's leveling because I'm leveling my office. I'm getting to the set up Meet Edgar will also be leveling because it's kind of like optimizing for me. Review webinar ninja stuff, that would be research. And again, I can also change the work on book edits. That's going to be high energy, so I'm just going to put an up arrow next to that. Prepare for coaching consult, again, research. Research podcast guest, guess what? That's research. A lot of research going on Monday. Play with Notion, that's going to be a low energy task, I think, for me, because I'm just going to fool around with it. Update YNAB, that's also low energy. Study Honeybook, that's research. Which, by the way, for me, and share Todoist thoughts is going to be just, that's going to be on social. So let's put social media. And I can also say that's going to be low energy. Now, by the way, research, I'm also going to put as my musing time. So I'll just put MUS. I know what these mean. That's the thing. Your shorthands, you know what those mean. So most of these actually planning falls into musing as well. But most of my research I would be doing during my horizontal theme of musing. So now all of a sudden I'm looking at these modes. And I can see all these modes. And again, you might have a hard time reading these, but I can look at this. The up arrow and the down arrow leads to energy levels. You might just want to use that. You might also want to say, hey, you know what? Update YNAB is going to take me 15 minutes. Play with Notion, I'm going to do that for 30 minutes. Things like that. Do my research for 2 weeks notice. That could be 30 minutes as well. So all of these are related to, these are the modalities. And then my projects are going to be, you know, what they're related to. So I could list all the projects here, for example. You know, these are my YouTube projects. Most of them, planning the video shoots, shoot final details, that's YouTube. Plan Tuesday shoot is YouTube, or time crafting TV. Prep coaching consult will be tailored time crafting, so I'll just put tail time. I know what that means. Again, shorthand's really, really powerful in this instance because all you really want to do is just kind of, so, and by the way, you don't need to fill out the projects either, or not everything will be a project. But you can see I'm putting all of those there, and by the time I'm done, most of this will be filled out. If you run out of capture space, just flip the page over, okay? And if you're using a sheet of paper, you can just make these columns smaller. I mean, you can see that, but basically the instructions are use this box to enter all the items for your task management tool so you can map out your day. And this is part of your task management tool. So there's a bunch of stuff here. So you could see lots of things here from your digital task app, your paper planner, your calendar, all these things. You're kind of just getting this stuff out and into a place where you can connect with it better. Now it's time to move on to the connect phase. So this is what I do is I will look at my energy levels, and ultimately I know on Monday that my energy level is generally pretty high because I've taken the last 2 days to do family stuff. So I'm going to, and this can also be done the next morning. So you don't even need to do this part. This could be the extent of what your plan looks like at the end of the day. You can say, you know what, I'm just going to plan this. These are all the things I could do, and then I'm going to do phase 2 and 3 tomorrow, right? So can I explain the difference between the mode and project section again? Absolutely. So a mode, think about a mode as a project is something that has a finish line to it. So my YouTube or is very specific to an area of my work. So the YouTube channel, while it will never be done, it's very project based. I'm working on this YouTube project. Modes are kind of the modality, the actions you need to take. There's different areas of it. So for example, social media, there's several different projects that I can work on with social media. So I could actually say, I'm going to share this live video on social media, and the project is YouTube. So if I'm going to go share on social media, share YouTube live on social media, the mode could be social media. because I only want to work in the social media area for that. Or it could be low energy, which is another category of mode. So I could say, hey, anything that's low energy, I can work on, and then I can move multiple projects forward in those energies, whether I'm using low energy, high energy, whatever. So to kind of simplify things, projects generally have an end and they're very objective. Hey, I'm going to work on my YouTube channel. I'm going to work on my coaching. I've got to work, I've got this project for work that I'm going to work on. The time crafting book, that's a project. But modes, they transcend projects. I can do, I have so many things that I can do with their low energy that they don't really end. They're very subjective. So for example, you might find playing with Notion to be a high energy taxing task to do, whereas for me it's very low energy. So that's subjective. But I'm going to be doing that for 2 weeks notice. So that's the project. So content creation, publication with leads to recurring deadlines. Yeah, so content creation would be, if you're creating content, maybe that mode would be creating, or making. I actually have a making mode, right? But the project would be YouTube channel, right? Or blog, or book, that kind of thing. So very, very objective. Because if you were to hand that to someone else, like say you're going to delegate it, I can delegate things. Like for example, Dom is in this chat right now. Dom works on my YouTube channel. I could delegate some of the stuff for my YouTube channel to Dom, right? And then he would have his own modes that he would apply to that. I can't delegate a mode. I can't say, hey, I want you to do all my low energy stuff, because Dom could look at it and go, Mike, I don't know how to use social very well, or I'm not very familiar with Meet Edgar. So therefore, that's a high energy task. Or, you want to be able to hand it to somebody and say, a project is very objective. You can say, hey, this is my YouTube channel. Here are all the things we need to do in the YouTube channel, and then they can apply their own modes to it. So that's the difference in a nutshell, okay? I have written about modes and talked about modes on my podcast before, and obviously on the blog, but that's the categories of modes are very subjective. Projects are objective, and most projects have an end point, right? So I could have even broken down the YouTube channel to say, hey, this is for this video, okay? Yes, so organizing things between high and low. And that's why I don't believe you have to use projects will move forward. This is the closest you can get to multitasking too. If you're working by modality, if you're looking at my list and you can say, hey, I want to do all my low energy tasks, I'm going to be moving forward my finances with YNAB, my 2 weeks notice with Notion, my my social, well, my the sharing to-do's thoughts is not project related. But if I say like setting up Meet Edgar is low energy, I could be moving forward that project, multiple projects just by working by energy level. Or let's say, I'll give you another great example. Before I got on this call, I had a meeting with someone. If I didn't have to do this, if I had a half hour in between, let's say, I would not necessarily jump into email, because email will give me a whole bunch of different directions to head down. I could look at, hey, let me look at all my low energy tasks, or let me look at all my 5-minute tasks that I can do in this half hour span. So I'm directing things that way, right? So modes help you with that. They're very, very personal. The projects, on the other hand, and like I said, projects can scale. So I'm glad that worked out for you. But again, back to this. You don't have to fill this other part out till the next day, till the day of. I mean, I'm going to do it now for the purposes of this video, but in this training. But there are, if I'm filling this out the night before, I may not do the energy levels till the next day. In fact, I probably shouldn't, right? But if you're doing this first thing in the morning, then yes, you may want to do it. If you're an early riser, you might say, hey, I'm going to do this. Can I have my cup of coffee like I have right now, which is a nice cup of coffee. It's almost done. And then I'm going to figure out what energy levels I have. So let's make the assumption that this is Monday. I'm now on Monday morning, and my energy level, let's say, is a 7. So I'm going to circle the 7. Now the next area is this a heavy lifting day or a light lifting day? And what do I mean by that? Well, what I mean is, look at your calendar. How many things do you have going on your calendar? If I was to look at my calendar right now, I could tell you that Monday I have, out of my working day, because I set aside from like 9 until, well, on Monday it's till 5 because my wife picks up my kids, except she's out of town. So I'm actually going to have to do that. So I'm looking at my schedule from 9 to 3. And of that, 4 hours, 4 hours? Yeah, 3 hours are taken up by appointments. The filming, for 2 hours, and then 2 half-hour points. So 3 of my hours between 9 and 3 are taken up. Therefore, I only have 3 hours of stuff, right? 3 hours of available time to work on these tasks. So when I'm looking at this captured list, so it's a heavy lifting day. Like, I have a lot of appointments. Now today would be a light lifting day because the only appointments I have are this appointment, right, with you, live, and I had a couple calls this morning. But from 11 o'clock my time onward until 3 o'clock, that's 4 hours, I don't. So therefore, I would say that today would be a light lifting day. It's also my planning day, so that helps. The themes will generally tell you, if you're using daily themes, whether it's a heavy lifting day or a light lifting day. Tuesdays and Wednesdays, and I see Tracy's mentioned here that Mondays and Tuesdays are heavy lifting days. Mondays normally aren't heavy lifting days for me. And the reason is that normally my wife is home with the kids, and so I can work until 5 o'clock, right? So, but Tuesdays and Wednesdays, my wife works evenings, and afternoons and evenings, so at 3 o'clock my day wraps up. Tuesdays I'm shooting, ask Dom. We normally shoot every Tuesday. And Wednesday I'm normally producing podcasts and doing interviews. So Tuesdays and Wednesdays are normally heavy lifting days by default. Thursdays are my deep work day. So I have no appointments scheduled that day. So it's a light lifting day in terms of appointments, in terms of what else is going on during the day, which means that's why it's a deep work day. I can focus on those heavy lifting tasks that are the tasks are going to take a lot of deep work. So when I'm looking at this list, I can say, okay, you know what? Some things like planning and things like that, I should move to that Thursday, right? And yes, we have this is the difference between heavy lifting and light lifting can again, it's very subjective. Heavy lifting could be the tasks that you believe you have to do. I look at heavy lifting as obligations that I've made, the abstractions in my schedule during the day, as to how much I'm going to actually be able to accomplish outside of those, okay? You can work it either way. You could say, hey, you know what? I'm looking at these tasks and I see that I have a lot to do by looking at your capture list. I tend to look at it the other way because the heavy lifting to me is I only have I'm committed to doing these other things during these times, which means my bandwidth is going to be given to how much bandwidth do I have? Okay, look at some of these questions. And yes. So heavy lifting, again, could be considered deep work, right? So you could say, hey, today is a heavy lifting day, but when I look at it from the vantage point of what I know to be true. I know my calendar is full, or I got quite a bit on the calendar, so therefore, that's going to help me determine it. Nadia says, I prefer using the platform mode to categorize my tasks. Yes. Platform. So I would call that resources, like person, place, thing, right? So that's definitely helpful. And there's a PDF called the 5 categories of mode-based work that I've shared with clients and stuff like that. And if you're in my 30 days of time crafting course, the $5 course that I offer at productivityist.com/$5, that's one of the things that you get. I think you get that at about day 20 because we kind of focus on other things initially. You'll be able to get those categories and we kind of walk through that, how those work. And it is a good point. Yeah, I mean, you can work it. This is the great thing. Productivity is personal. So you could say, hey, heavy lifting is the tasks that are on me, or heavy lifting is the tasks that are the appointments, right? That's the way I look at it. Tracy, great. I'm loving it. The $5 course has been hugely helpful. So if you enjoy 30 days of time crafting and you're not enrolled in it yet, productivityist.com/$5. I might put it in the comments here. And here's the thing, appointments do, like Tracy said, appointments do suck my energy out, so that's why I categorize it this way. But again, we've kind of left it open to interpretation to a degree. I'll get to my daily themes in a minute, okay? But Diane, I'll get to those in a minute once we get through the curation phase here. So now, let's get to that part because I want to be respectful of everybody's time, and we did start a little bit late. So curate. So this is the part where it says, now that you've connected with what your what and why, list 5 progress items for the day, like just 5. Now there is room for 10. And then the thumbs up symbol on here, which you could see right there, that's the number 1 thing for the day. Now, this is where I'll talk about themes, Diane. So the theme should help you designate what that number 1 task is for the day. If it doesn't, then a couple things may have happened. Number 1, something got thrown your way that you didn't expect that needed to be done. from somebody else, and it needs to be the thing you take care of first before you can move on with your stuff, which is normally what happens to people, especially when they're starting out with time crafting. Number two, you've procrastinated or have too much on your plate, so the thing that you should be doing with that theme you can't because it needs to be something else that you do. And that can be because you either miscalculated your time, maybe you didn't break down a project or a bigger task, which would technically be a project, down to small enough components, or I call it break down your project to its smallest particles. But the other thing that it could be is maybe the daily theme is wrong for you at this point, and that's happened to me recently, actually. Tracy alluded to the idea of being worn out and tired and things like that. I think she said, so she saves her appointments to Thursday or Friday. I used to make Friday my deep work day, and what was happening was, number one, my kids were home occasionally on Fridays, so I would lose that deep work. But also by Friday, I was wiped out. I'm now at a point where I was wiped out, so I had to swap. So Thursday became my deep work day, which means I don't do appointments on Thursdays, and now I do appointments on Fridays, and Friday's my planning day. So that's what I did. Okay. And Nadia's right. Everything you need is in $5. So there is, and and yes, you will get all of the theme stuff in there as well. But I haven't revealed my daily theme, so I will reveal those now. And by the way, they're on my Now page as well. So if you go to Mike Vardy, actually I'll put, if you go to mikevardy.com/now, you can see what my daily themes are as of right now. And if you go to, I'll just put it in here. While we're sitting here, might as well. Productivityist.com/$5. That's the $5 guarantee. Okay, so my daily themes are as follows. We'll start with the day I'm recording here. Friday is my planning day. Okay, so it's where I give my overarching focus. Doesn't mean I only do planning, but my overarching focus to planning. Saturday is my family day, and Sunday is my family day. Now, the tasks that fall on my family day also involve household errands, things like that. So I kind of incorporate those into family stuff because they're helping out my family. Monday, as you know, is my leveling day. So it's the day where I either set things back to zero, or I try to level up, or I, optimize. It used to be kind of optimizing day, but leveling kind of covers things a bit better for me now. Tuesday is my looking day, so I focus largely on video, reading, research, so you can see some of these things might get moved to Tuesday when I'm going through this curation phase. Wednesday is my listening day, so it's largely when I do interviews, when I do podcast production, things like that, creating audio for programs that are not just in 30 days of time crafting, but for my upcoming membership site and all that stuff. We also do filming on Tuesdays as well, so that's where a lot of that stuff happens. Thursdays, that's my deep work day. So writing, whether it's the book, whether it's blog posts, whether it's something for the membership, whether it's doing content for the 30 days of time craft, all that stuff, anything that I can do that requires depth and thought and no distractions happens on Thursdays. And by theming, what that does is it allows me to kind of create some defaults for things to fall on. So I only do podcast interviews on Wednesdays. Unless it's someone I want to interview, I'm not going to give them my schedule. I'm going to go after theirs, and that's what I would call an abstraction. Tuesdays is my filming day, and again, Dom is here pretty much every Tuesday, so we can film. Thursday, deep work, so I know I don't do any appointments. And then Mondays and Fridays, because sometimes the kids are home from school, I can miss a leveling day every once in a while. And I can frankly miss a planning day every once in a while because, as you can see, some planning stuff falls on other days. And then Saturday and Sunday, of course, family. So those are my daily themes. And again, you don't have to theme every single day of the week. Okay, let's move into the curation phase. So I'm looking at this and I see leveling. So the first thing I'm going to do is look at the tasks that I've put the leveling mode on. So should I set up Meet Edgar? Should I set up my office or guest area? Frankly, to me, that is actually the most important thing that I can do. And it won't take very much time to do. So I'm going to put set up guest area. Okay? Because I don't know if you have a mother-in-law or have in-laws or have guests that are coming, but to make sure that they're set up, especially if they're going to be here for over the holidays, it's a real good thing to do because then I don't have to worry about it. It's all set. I'm picking up my wife and my mother-in-law on Monday from the airport. They're coming back from, my wife goes up and travels every month up to Whitehorse in the Yukon to do some acupuncture up there. So she's coming back, and they're coming back together. So I want to make sure that everything is set up. And setting up the guest area takes something off her plate. It levels It's leveling things. So I'm going to call this, and there is no project for this. It's not like this falls into a project. So that's my number one thing. So that doesn't mean, by the way, that I have to do it first. It doesn't mean that that's the first thing I'm going to do, but it means it's the thing I must do. Okay. I'm going to look at the other things here. So I really do need to plan that shoot. Plan the Tuesday, and it's kind of fine tuning. So plan Tuesday shoot, because there's several different things we're shooting because of the holidays. So I will then, and again, planning and musing, I'm actually going to put that as musing because I do have a horizontal theme, which are themes that go across the days as opposed to through the days. That's why they're called horizontal. I have a musing time. As a matter of fact, if I was to look at it right now, I could tell you that my musing time is from, yeah, it is from, hold on a second. Currently, my musing time is from, it is from 2 to 3. Yeah, that's usually my musing time. And that also can change. So that, I don't have a planning time on, I don't have like a horizontal theme for planning. I have a daily theme for planning, which is Friday, but this is Monday. So I need to kind of have another way to relate to it. I could have used high energy. I could have, as Nadia mentioned, I could have said, I need to do this on my desktop. I need to do this in my office, etc. Since I'm already in that modality of looking at musing time, I'll look at other things I can muse. So do I need to research? I need to prepare for that coaching consult because we are doing some coaching stuff as the year wraps up. So I want to make sure that I'm ready and at my best when I go into that. So that's also something else I can do during my musing time, right? Working on the book edits definitely has to happen. We have to have the final stuff into the editor by the design team by January. So I need to work on that. That's a high energy task, which means I won't be doing it till the afternoon because I know in the mornings I'm not very good with that sort of thing. We are shooting the trailer, which is also another thing. So that's a trailer for 2 weeks notice. I'm going to tell you what it is right now too, since you're watching. The next 2 weeks notice series, the next 2 weeks notice, it's going to be bullet journaling. So I'm going to be spending 20 hours doing bullet journaling. So there you go, a little spoiler. This is a teaser before the trailer. So there you go. So that's going to be, now it's my looking time, but I'm not, we actually have an appointment for that. So I'm going to call that making because that's something I'm making, right? So when I'm capturing this stuff, I'm putting whatever the first mode comes to mind, but now that I'm curating it, I'm better assessing it, whichever modes are going to resonate with me more, right? So that kind of thing. Looking at the rest of the stuff, I need to review. There's a lot of review stuff, so I need to review the Webinar Ninja seminars. That will be also during my musing time, or frankly, it could be low energy. So I can put both. I'll put musing / low energy. So it gives me an option, right? And then research the podcast guest. So I'll just put research podcast guest. In all honesty, that's a low energy task. I'm doing a lot of it's passive, okay? And now I'm at an update YNAB. That's really important because I want to level that, right? So that's a leveling thing. So I'll put leveling here. Notice how there's another leveling thing there. And then I can look at the rest and go, okay, well, what else am I going to do that's related? So there it is. That's what this looks like. Notice I haven't put any project stuff here. I tend not to work by project. I tend to work by modality more than anything else. But if I was to do that, I could put plan YouTube shoots, so that's that plan Tuesday shoots, that's YouTube. Prep coaching consult, that's tailored time crafting. Work on book edits, that's the TC book. Shoot, that's YouTube. Review webinar ninja seminar, that's frankly, like that is related to the blog, like that's related to the time crafting. It's actually related to 30 days of time crafting. I'm basically doing like an infomercial style automated webinar. Research podcast guest, that's related to the podcast, of course. And then update YNAB, that's really related to the admin of Productivityist, but it's also family admin too, so I wanted to put it that way. So there you go. This is what this looks like. And then Monday, when I start my day, I look at the curation phase. Now, once I get these 8, like this is where I start. I'll go through this, and then if there's more stuff that I want to grab from the capture phase, because what I've done now is I've crossed out, like I can basically cross out the update YNAB. I can plan the Tuesday, and I combine those. Plan Tuesday, shoot final details. They're both together. I can research the podcast guest. I can prep coaching consult, working on the book edits. Let's see what else. Set up the office guest. That's fine. We have shoot the 2 weeks notice trailer. That's there. And that's it. So now I'm looking at the top. Notice how those are all crossed off because I moved them down here. As these get done during the day, I will cross them off. Notice at the top, anything that wasn't done, I've left open because it might move to a future date, right? So when I'm planning the next day, now I can use this as a form to go, oh, I didn't set up Meet Edgar. Should I do that tomorrow, Tuesday, or should I just wait till the next leveling day? Because my theme for that day is the mode is leveling, and that's a theme-based mode. One of the categories of mode-based work I talked about. Should it be next Monday? So there's clues in these modes that tell me where this should appeal to or appear next time. And then as I do these things, I cross them off here, and at the end of the day, I do what's called calibrate, which is I go into my digital task app, whatever one that is that you're using, or if you're using a paper planner, and I go and I cross them off as complete there. So I'm getting like this double sense of completion, I guess. Digital task apps, the reason I use that is because it's just a check mark, but this, you get the actual feeling of it. That's the nuts and bolts of it. Now, me walking through it with you, we've taken about 45 minutes to do. This takes me normally about a Pomodoro, 25 minutes to put this in play. And then there's, obviously some tweaking that happens sporadically, throughout the day. But that's largely what that looks like. So you can take all of this and do it exactly like I did. Or you can say, hey, I'm just going to capture. I'm going to do the energy stuff because that's how it works for me. Nadia says it doesn't, so that's fine. You can eliminate that if you don't want to have that. Maybe you just don't use energy level, but you say this is a light lifting day or heavy lifting day, right? And then it's the curation. Hey, Tracy, thanks so much for joining me today. We're nearing the end of this anyway, so if you have any questions or anything like that, I'd love to hear it in the comments. If you're live, if you're not live, you can just leave comments in the video itself. I will be happy to answer them as we go. Was this helpful to those that are still here? Tracy, thanks for chiming in. If you're still here watching live, what are your thoughts? I'd love to hear. I've got some thumbs up. If there's any questions, has this been helpful? Do you want me to do more sessions like this? Maybe planning a different day of the week so you can see what that looks like. Maybe planning, I know we're doing the annual alignment webinar that's coming up. That's next week. That's a paid webinar. For those that are not in the 30 days of time crafting course, which is free for them. But if you're not, I'm just going to copy and paste it. And this will be, this is the annual alignment webinar. Actually, we should go, no, it's got to be this. I'm just going to put that in here real quick. Oh, okay, great. Can I explain leveling? Okay, let me, awesome, Camille, thanks. And of course, my cursor's gone now. Great. So let me explain leveling to you. Leveling is awesome. Great. Thanks, Diane. Leveling to me, and this is, again, for me, this is the word I choose. When I choose daily themes, I pick words that resonate with me. So optimization was what Monday used to be, which is the idea of making things better, improving. So things like setting up Meet Edgar, which is a social media platform, would be great. Making Text Expander better would be better as well. Oh yeah, the Night Owl Action Plan is Night Owl Action Plan. I don't know if you can pick it up. You could try, but there's a whole bunch of different links. Enrollment might be closed for that. But back to what I was saying. So optimization was all about making things better, but there were certain things. Sometimes making things better means ending certain things. Actually, very fitting. The Night Owl Action Plan is something that I no longer offer, so I had to end it. So that's on a day of leveling. I look at things that need to be made better by either optimizing them, taking them to the next level, or getting rid of them, leveling them, like back to the studs, which is what I've done, frankly, with all of my digital products recently, is you cannot buy any digital product from me other than, at least not directly. You might be able to find by Googling and things like that. It still might be able to get some of that stuff. But the only thing you can get from me before purchasing anything else is the $5 30 Days of Time Crafting course. And there's a reason for that, because I want, when people are asking me questions about theming, stuff like that, I want them to be able to come into the bigger products that I offer and coaching especially, with a working knowledge of how time crafting is. And also by putting $5 down, you're putting a little bit of skin in the game, right? And everyone that's taken it so far, 5 days in, I had people saying, this is great, like this is worth way more than $5. That's fine. Whatever, I mean, I want to help as many people as possible. And so by leveling all the other stuff out, saying I'm going to take all the stuff down to the studs, right back to the bare bones, the foundation, and I'm going to start this 30 days of time crafting program. Same thing with YouTube. I killed, like, one of the things I did as part of my leveling was I went through a bunch of videos on YouTube and made them made them private. So that they aren't visible, because some of them are not very good anymore. So leveling to me is not just about making things better by taking them to the next level, but also by eliminating them completely. So instead of optimizing, I chose leveling, and it actually works nicely with the alliteration: leveling, looking, listening, right? So great walkthrough, trying to integrate with digital apps. Yes, good point, Veronica. So when I'm looking at my digital tools, modes are tags, not projects. Projects are projects. That's how they're listed in most of these apps. But I would use tags or labels if you're using like Todoist or something like that. Those would be where modes would go. And then you can, and actually in Todoist, what I've done in the past is I've actually created filters that say, hey, this is Sunday focus. And it just says at family and 30 days as a filter. So that way I see everything that's due in the next 30 days that I've dated, so that when I look at the Sunday filter, I only see that. Now you can create multiple filters, like Sunday filter dated, Sunday filter undated. So you could just say, hey, I want to see everything that is listed as family. And then that's the trigger. So instead of going to the tag family or the label family in Todoist, I would just go to the Sunday filter, because then the friction point is less. I can say, oh, it's Sunday. What do I do on Sunday? And that's why daily themes are powerful too. When I wake up on Monday morning, I don't go, okay, what do I do today? This daily plan is going to help. But I already know that, okay, what does Monday mean? Oh, Monday's leveling day. Okay, what leveling am I going to do today? Right? So theming just helps you filter out the noise and filter your list down. Let's see what else we have. I think that's, yeah. So that, and Lee, you're talking about how to bring it to the digital realm. You can do the same thing. So bring this over. If you're a Notion fan, you might be able to recreate this in Notion too. I've not spent time on that yet. But I love the paper component, because the paper allows, I'm not getting any notifications or buzzing or anything like that. Yes, there's a step. Take it out of digital, put it on paper, bring it back to digital. But I've often found that when people are working in digital all day long, they're getting interruptions either by colleagues or by their own volition or whatever. I can actually focus on this and then go back at the end of the day and close it out. What's my favorite online organization tool for productivity? Whew. I'm a big believer in like focusing on the app within and bringing your own like approach to it. But I like Asana. I like Todoist. I'm actually spending time with two other tools right now, and I haven't really revealed this too much. I'm using Time Hero now as my task management app. I'm building things into there, moving things over. It has integration with Asana too, which has been helpful. I'm spending time with Amazing Marvin, of course. And also, let's see, I like Front for email, and I like Woven for my calendar. So those are the tools I'm kind of spending more time with. So I hope that there's so many apps out there. And I'm going to be spending time with those apps in the 2 weeks notice series on YouTube. So if you subscribe to the channel, you're bound to see my reactions to things like Amazing Marvin and Time Hero and Text Expander and Front and all. I'm Woven on all those things. Yes. First name, last name. Yes, the 30-day, so self-directed online course on your own. The good thing about 30 days of time crafting is I'm actually involved in there. I'm spending time in there and responding to people and asking for, I'm doing some of that. If you're having problems with online courses on your own, email me. Ask Mike at productivityist.com, because this is where coaching can come into play. You'll need to do some kind of coaching, because then you're actually getting active engagement with the person. So I do coaching. Right now I'm doing, until the end of December, you can buy single sessions. And if you email me, I can send you how to do that. But after that, it's just going to be working by month or yearly, because it's like you can't go to the gym once and expect to be in great shape. Productivity is a lifestyle, right? And with time crafting, it evolves. So that's my suggestion is, if you can't deal with self-directed courses on their own, and this is where when I coach, people have the 30 days of time crafting, having gone through that, I can then help them get through the rest of that course if they haven't gone through it yet. But not only that, I can I can help them understand certain things, the nuances that they may need to add themselves to make it more effective for them as well. Tim, any chance of releasing apps with helpful quotes and guidelines? That's something that's going to be inside of my membership site. So one of the reasons I've stopped talking about apps so much online in the blog, and I know we're going a little bit over, but that's okay. If you want to stick around, I'll be here. Is one of the problems that I've noticed is that I came across, and this happened when I co-wrote that Asana book with Jeremy Roberts, is within weeks of us releasing that book, the user interface and everything changed. When I was doing courses with Steve Dotto, Slack Made Easy and all that stuff, those kind of things were problematic too, because they change, right? Like Slack changes and Todoist. I mean, even the Skillshare course, there's been some changes to Todoist since then. So where I see myself spending time talking about apps is in two areas. Number three, actually. Number one, the 2 weeks notice video series. Secondly, the membership site that I'm building. So by the time 30 Days of Timecraft, the first people, when I first started 30 Days of Timecrafting, 17 people signed up right away. Well, those 17 people, along with my former Patreon supporters and that, are going to be in the new Timecrafting membership site, which I'm not going to reveal too much about right now. But that's, I think, where I can do things like, hey, here's how you timecraft in Todoist. Here's where you timecraft in Asana, Trello, OmniFocus, all that stuff. Because there's a couple reasons. Number one, I can edit it and I can change it as the apps change, and it's a little bit more worth my time because people are spending money in there, and it's not going to be a lot of money, but I can go, oh, there's hundreds and hundreds of people in here, and some of them will want to know how to do this in Todoist, so I will do that. Whereas on YouTube or a blog post, I would have to edit and change, and it becomes dated. So that's where I see that happening. But I will probably have a resources page updated on Productivity's website that says, here are some tools you can use, and here are like a couple of quick pros and cons about it. That's the other way I can do it. But apps change so radically, and I'm a big believer on focusing on the app. Like if you go to an app with a poor framework or a poor process, the app's not going to help you. The membership site URL to sign up, let me get that for you really quickly. I've got to go to the sales page to send it to you. Let's find it. It is, this is by the way, it's being renamed, so let me drop it in here. But you can just sign up to get updates. But there it is, Tim. And yes, it'll be launching. My plan, I've been a bit more strategic about this lately, is 30 Days of Timecrafting launch just before the start of December, which means by the end of December, I have to have there's over 200 people in the program already. I have to have somewhere for them to go, and that's where they're going to go. So that's what I'm working on behind the scenes as well. I didn't put that on the list here, but by the time December 30th, January 1st, and that area rolls around, it'll be open for business. And it'll be evolving too. That's the other thing about Timecrafting. It evolves with you, so will this membership site. And it's not going to be called Total Timecrafting. I'm changing the name, but it'll be the same principles will apply. Let's see. How does my Creative Live course fit into 30? My Creative Live course is 6 years old. If you buy that course, and I know it's fairly inexpensive, you will see the genesis of Timecrafting in there. You will see stuff that I've been talking about for years. So if anything, what I love about the Creative Live course, and even some of my other stuff like Skillshare course and stuff like that, is you're seeing the kernels, the beginnings, even the maturation of Timecrafting. So the Creative Live course is like 17 hours, I think, of content. And it's evolved since then. But there's still a lot of value in that course. So if you've taken the Creative Live course, if you haven't, just go to Creative Live and look me up. I did one course for them, and it was pretty popular. I still get royalty checks, so it's still doing okay. But it's the genesis of that stuff. So, hey, and yes, the 3 minutes time crafting project. Thanks, Cecil or Cecil. I sometimes it goes either way. Yes, the 3 minute time crafting podcast will probably come back, but it'll probably be inside of the Total Time Crafting or the time crafting community. It was one of those things, and it may not. It may end up coming out in some other way, but I do miss it. But what I found was I was trying to do too much. something, again, leveling. I had to level some stuff out. And since I'm focusing more on YouTube, certain things had to give. It's interesting because we have videos planned, and Dom and I talked about this last week. Last week. Or was it this week? We talked about it. And we have videos planned all the way to the end of February. Like, we have a plan in place, including shoot dates and stuff like that. Podcasts, the weekly podcast that I do, Productivityist Podcast, I have guests interviewed all the way at this point until the end of April, and episodes planned until the end of May 2020. And today is December 13th. So, by the way, maybe that's why we're having problems with the live stream. It's Friday the 13th. I don't know. Could be a thing. But anyway, by being far enough ahead in this, I can do things like get my time crafting book done that's due out on shelves June 16th, I believe, to get the time crafting membership community out there, to focus on YouTube a bit more. By having those other things done in advance, I can get that done. And once the YouTube flow starts to be a bit more, I can do it a little bit more readily and not have to kind of figure things out, like live streaming, for example, then I might be able to bring back the daily podcast. But I want to make sure I have things planned in advance and it just doesn't come off ad hoc. I want to do things better. And I had to level that so I could take it maybe to the next level in the future. Thanks for watching, everybody. We've gone almost an hour, but obviously we're a little bit over time because of the technical issues. So if you've stuck around this long, thank you so much. I really appreciate it. Of course, you can grab the Daily Progress Planner directly if you've done this. If not, you can sign up for emails and things like that. Can we have your podcast in Google? I think you can get it on Google Podcast. If you go to, let me quickly go here. I think it's Productivityist. Hold on. I think I can find it on the Transistor site. It's under Transistor. There it is. I'll go to the subscribe page. I'll just drop it in there. Yeah, you can get this on Google Podcasts. I'm just going to drop it in here so that way you can get it. So if you're still around, boom, go to the subscribe page. It's right there. Thanks so much, everybody. I really, really enjoyed doing this today. And I want to do more of them. I'll probably just do them streaming from my iPad or my iPhone going forward, get a better mic and stuff like that, because clearly OBS wasn't working. And this is not an old Mac that I'm looking at right now. It's a fairly decent one, so I don't know what the deal was, and I'll get better at this too. Thanks so much, everybody, for tuning in today. I really do appreciate it. And if you have any questions or comments or anything else that you want to ask me, just drop them in the comments, and I'll be happy to answer it. Hey, thanks again so much, and enjoy the rest of your day. I'll see you later.